Hello and welcome to Anghiari, one of the most beautiful Tuscan hill towns. We're here today because it's the Festa dei Bringoli, a kind of pasta festival. So we're going to go and have a look around, then I'll take you home and show you how to make them. Bringoli is a local hand-rolled kind of pasta, made without eggs, so really it's just flour and water. This kind of pasta is very common in Tuscany, but it goes under many different names. So pici, or pinci, or bigoli, or here in Anghiari, bringoli. They have the same kind of pasta in Umbria as well, where it's called strozza preti, which means strangle the priests. So, welcome back to the kitchen and let's start our bringoli. So the first thing we need is flour. Now this is 00 flour, which is the flour that they use for making pasta here in Italy. And you need 100 grams per person. So I've got 200 grams here. And most Italian people would start off by putting it straight onto the board, but for all the reasons that I'm always saying to do with waste and stuff, I'm going to make this in a bowl. So you put your flour in the bowl. And what you then do is you make a little hole in the middle of the flour, like a well. And then we want about 6 grams of extra virgin olive oil. Put that in. And a pinch of salt. Here we go. And then here I've got 100 grams of water. Again, it's about 50 grams per person. And what I do is I pour some of the water into the middle of the well, and then I just start dragging the flour into the centre to mix it in with the water. And when all the flour has mixed in, I add some more water. I do this little by little because, again, depending on the humidity, depending on the flour, you might not actually need all the water. And you don't want your dough to be too wet. Add the rest of the water. Now it's really starting to come together as a dough now, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start using my hands just to manage to bring everything together fully. Again, just bringing everything together, squeezing the dough onto the flour that's left. So I'm going to put this onto the work surface now. Just got a bit of flour here for dusting to stop it sticking. And then what you need to do is you need to knead your dough. And you need to knead the dough for about 20 minutes or 15 minutes until it comes together into a homogeneous mass. And the technique for kneading is, or the technique I was shown for kneading pasta, uses one hand, and you take the heel of your hand and push it into the pasta, roll the pasta back, flatten it, and then turn it 90 degrees. Heel, roll, flatten, turn. Heel, roll, flatten, turn. Heel, roll, flatten, turn. So I'm going to need to do this for about another 20 minutes. So I suggest that you go off and do something else. In fact, why don't I show you some pictures of the Tuscan cat? Wasn't he cute? Somebody asked me what his name was, and he's actually called Jerry. So there we go. So I've been kneading this for about 20 minutes now, and the dough has changed consistency completely. It's now quite soft and springy and silky. In fact, it's a bit like soft plasticine. So now it's ready. So what I need to do now is let this rest. So I'm going to put it in cling film in the fridge for at least 30 minutes. So my pasta has been in the fridge for about half an hour now, and it's nice and rested. So what I need to do now is to shape it into bringoli. So first of all, with a rolling pin, I'm going to roll out the pasta until it's about 1 centimetre thick. If you're using a wooden board like I am and the Italians do, you won't need to dust it. And in fact, it's quite important that you don't dust it, because you want the pasta to be a little bit, to stick to the board a little bit. And then you need to brush the top of it with extra virgin olive oil. And the reason I'm doing this is to stop it drying out while I'm making it into a bringoli. So just put some olive oil on the top. I'm using a brush. So what I then do is take a pizza wheel, and I'm going to cut the pasta into strips using the pizza wheel. Quite thick strips, I'd say, probably about 1 centimetre thick. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So what you do is you take one piece of your pasta, and then you just want to start rolling it on the board like this with both hands, and then gently pull your hands apart while you do it. And the pasta will get longer and longer. As I say, it doesn't matter if it's a bit of an irregular shape. It's a little bit thick and a little bit thin. That's the beauty of it being hand rolled. Okay, so here's my first bringolo. And what I'm going to do now is, here I've got a tray full of semolina flour. Now don't worry too much about the different types of Italian flour, because I'll be doing a blog post about these later in the week. But what I want to do is put my bringolo in the flour, coat it in the flour, and then I'm going to leave it there to dry out. Now, to cook these, you need to cook them in plenty of boiling salted water. Now, for every 100 grams of bringoli, you should have a litre of water. That's a lot more water than people normally cook pasta in, but that's actually the correct amount. And you need to boil these for about 3 to 4 minutes, and then serve them with your favourite pasta sauce. So my bringoli are ready. I'm eating them with a tomato sauce, but you can eat them with lots of different things. In fact, I'll be putting some recipes for pasta sauces to go with bringoli on the blog later this week. I'm just going to put some lovely grated Parmesan cheese. If you like this recipe and want to see more, you know what to do. Click the subscribe button. And so I've got my bringoli, I've got my glass of my favourite wine. Cheers! No, cats don't eat pasta.